Hello and welcome to my channel. It looks like today is going to be another one of those 2-a-day videos because, I've got the time to record and I had just finished recording my last one and then this idea came to mind and so I wanted to talk about it. Recently, Meghan Markle, and if you don't know who that is, where have you been? But here she is on screen. American actress, married a British royal. They ended up leaving the British royal family. He abdicated his place in line to the throne for her, I believe. And since then, they've been making their home here in the United States with their two children, Archie and Lilibet. And she's also sort of made it her job to be very open and honest about what her experience was really like being the first Black royal within like that family system. She's obviously not the first Black royal, but the first person within that family system. What it was like being a Black royal over in the UK as far as like how the press treated her. She's been very open about allegations of racism and the way she was treated like she was being such a diva and people weren't really respecting her wishes and she wasn't being respected as a person. And she's been very open about the fact that at times the treatment that she was receiving, not only from the British press, but from the royal family themselves, made her consider taking her own life. And her husband, Harry, being, the son of Princess Diana, who passed away notoriously in a fiery collision with members of the British paparazzi. She also did not have a great relationship with the royal family. He saw firsthand, or has grown up knowing firsthand, how kind of negative that environment can be. And he was like, not my wife. And he got them out of there. And so for a long time, I was a very big supporter of Meghan because the British people really hate her. They hate her. Well, at least let me be honest. When I say the British people, I'm really just talking about the things that I've seen. So like the articles that I've seen come out about her, or you guys know I read the Daily Mail, and the comment section whenever Meghan is mentioned is always just so negative. And, compared to how they think of Kate, and they were always just so very nice to Kate. And I think that just says so much about, how that country views class and who they should respect and who doesn't really deserve their respect. I think they've done a lot of projection on Meghan. They've made her into this villain that she doesn't deserve to be made into. I also think it's very unfair the way that they tend to want to listen to her father, who was an alcoholic and, who had mental illnesses that she estranged herself from, her older sister, who is just kind of a leech who likes to latch on to Meghan's story and Meghan's celebrity in order to give herself a career after all these years of not really doing anything. And I don't think it's fair that the press is like, why doesn't she talk to her dad? Why doesn't she? If anybody out there has ever been in a family with difficult family dynamics, you know that that's a very private thing, that if you've made that decision not to talk to like a core family member, like a sister, your father, your mother, it's probably something really, really serious. And so I don't like the fact that, you have so many people from the British press that just completely disregard whatever her side could be in it because they don't want to give her any credibility as a person. I also don't like, and I remember a couple years ago when, I don't remember his name, but I'll put his name up here on the screen. I'm just drawing a blank. Pierce something. He always has so much to say. But recently people have stopped listening to him. I don't know. He used to be everywhere and now he's not anywhere. But I remember like Sharon Osbourne got fired from The Talk because of this dude, because he was basically saying that like Meghan was making it up. Anytime Meghan talked about experiencing racism, within the UK, that she was making it up. And I believe that Sharon Osbourne was like, yeah, I don't think, he said anything wrong by saying that he didn't believe. I think there was a whole thing. She got fired from the show. It was really awkward. She had like a meltdown on the stage because she thought people were saying she was racist. I'm giving you all this right now because as I'm talking, it's all coming back to me. But long story short, Meghan Markle, it looked like a couple of years ago when she married Harry, and I think she married him in May of 2018, it looked like she was set to just write this fairy tale story. And just like Wallace Simpson and I think his name was David, I'll put their names up here. I'm really having a brain fart day. But just like those two decades before, it was not a fairy tale story and they're not regarded very well by the British press, by the British people. But I will say that unlike Wallace and guy she married, I don't remember his name, Meghan has always been incredibly media savvy. Before she married Harry, she had a blog, she had a Instagram account that was really big, and she was an actress. In fact, this is one of the things that I think is most interesting about her. When she was a tiny child, like 11 years old, she wrote a letter to a soap company, to a dishwashing company, a dish soap company, and she was like, "Why do you only have the mothers doing the chores in your commercials? Everybody should help out with the chores. I don't like this." And I remember people were saying she was on an episode of like Nick News for speaking out. Meghan, I believe, has the same birthday as Barack Obama. Like she's a powerful woman. She's very smart. And I think that the fact that her story unfolded the way that it did was obviously very hurtful and very traumatic for her. But she's also not the type of person that was ever just going to go away and not talk about it and not speak up about her experiences. Recently, she finally launched a podcast that she had been saying she was going to launch. Her and Harry had this media company they were calling Archwell, I believe, and she launched this podcast. I have not listened to it. I was going to listen to it because I have supported my girl. I have been in those comment sections and I've just been, like defending her. And the reason why I'm not going to listen to it is because I feel a little bit burnt by this comment right here on the screen. And while I support, like in the last video that I made, while I support the right of anybody to tell their story, I just feel like she should have reworded, backpedaled, thought again about how she phrased what she phrased. And then part of me said, why? She's being very honest and she said what she said. Okay? If we really get down to it, the fact that I don't like what she said doesn't change the truth of her statement. Being Black, presenting as a Black person, and being treated as such is a very specific experience. And a lot of times, it's not a positive experience. When I was in college, I took a class that was called something Black Thought. It was a Black Thought class. And I took it because I needed an English credit. I wasn't really thinking about it. The class changed my life. One of the main tenets that the professor talked about was just the experience that Black people have within all societies as being this other. And this other that is the furthest away from what is perceived as being the correct way to be and to look in a society. The moment that one realizes that they are this other that is the furthest away from being normal, a lot of times that moment is so powerful for a human being that you never really recover. And it caused me to it was sort of like a key unlocked in my brain. And I realized that a lot of like the bitterness and like low self-esteem that I'd been carrying around with me for years, and I was 18 at this time, but it came from knowing that about myself. I'm the furthest away from normal. I'm the ultimate other. And so with Meghan Markle stating, I had not been treated as a Black woman before, what she's really saying is I hadn't been treated as an other that was that far away from the standard norm of being. And so for me, old feelings of resentment came up, old feelings of just, it made me wonder if she really understood the full magnitude of losing the privilege that she'd enjoyed here in the United States by going over to a place and being in a group of people where one drop of that extreme otherness just closed you out from being considered normal. It made me wonder if she really understood the gravity of her privilege. What happens so often on social media when you see people that do get upset and that do get angry when someone who does not present Black at all is like, well, I'm Black. The anger comes from knowing that this person who needs to prove their Blackness is not equated as much of an other as somebody who doesn't need to show anything to prove what they are. And I don't think that the people who get upset and who are like, no, I am Black, I don't think they get that. Again, I have not listened to the podcast because that statement itself just rattled me. I've got to listen to it. I'll probably record an update video when I listen. But yeah, it just rattled me because I think as a black woman, as a dark-skinned black woman, as a dark-skinned black woman with bigger feet, like there's no way to deny that like I'm black. I feel like I've always had to make space for other people to say, well, you know, I'm black too. And I'm like, okay, that's true. Yes, no, you are. Absolutely. And I never want anybody to feel like they have to deny part of their heritage, because that's silly. They don't have to. But at the same time, I do often question, does this person understand? Do they truly understand the place of privilege that they have? Because when it comes to them and me, I am the greater other. Do they understand? And I feel like that comment that Meghan Markle made, I thought again about what she was saying about her experience in Britain and how, you know, she, or with the royal family, and how she was so incensed by all of these comments, and I said to myself, well, of course you were. You lost your privilege. And when she said, you know, I consider taking my life, I just said, is she aware that some people live with that extreme knowledge that their difference makes them unlovable in a lot of people's eyes? They live with it every day. Is she aware? Is she aware of, is she aware? And maybe she is. Maybe she is. But I before I read and saw that statement, I had been a diehard, you know, no holds barred, like defender of Meghan. And what that statement reminded me of is just that she and women who have her social reality and me will always be extremely different. And I think that if Meghan had lived a life where her race had been brought to her front door a lot more, maybe, just maybe, and I know it had to be bad, okay? Because they were terrible to Diana, right? We all saw The Crown. But maybe the comments that were made to her would not have been as much of a surprise. Maybe she would have prepared and told Harry, like, hey, I'm going over there. So before we go over, I need your family to attend some racial sensitivity classes. I need your family to know I want these people on my staff. I want to be looking at faces that look like me every single day because I am a black woman. I think when Meghan said that, what she was really saying is, I didn't think of myself as a black woman until I went to the UK. I didn't. And you know, she, in her defense, she's a mixed race woman, but I do think that people who align themselves with that great possibility of otherness that black people have to take on every single day, I do think that they are much more informed, whether they're just biracial, whether they're triracial, whatever. When you are really, really aware that you carry with you the ancestry of people who have been deemed just extreme outsiders in almost every society, just based on how they look physically, I think the way you present yourself and how you expect others to respond to you is just incredibly different. But yeah, I saw that article and I saw what she said, and I was like, she's got a lot of learning left to do. And it changed how I felt about her as a person. And I think from now on, I'll stay out of the comment sections like viciously defending her, because at the end of the day, when she looks at herself and she looks at me, one of us deserves the treatment that she was receiving. Well, that's not fair. It's understandable that one of us would have received the treatment that she did over in the royal family, whereas one of us shouldn't have received it. And I don't like that. It makes me uncomfortable. Did you see the article? Better yet, did you listen to the podcast? I hope I made sense in this video, because I was, it's hard trying to say what I want to say without being offensive. But if you understood what I'm trying to say, or if you listened to the episode, please comment down below. And again, like I said in my earlier video, I never want to invalidate anybody else's experience or whatever. But there are certain things that I'm just like, ooh, that didn't rub me the right way. And this was definitely one of those things. As always, thanks for watching.